Welcome to More Than Money, everyone. I'm Mark Manelli, your host.
Stephen Balance.
And we're glad you're with us as we talk about everything financial from a biblical point of view. And let's see, Christmas is past.
Yeah.
And New Year's is right around the corner.
Yeah.
So you know what time of year this is.
It's resolution time.
It's resolution. This is the time everybody makes promises that many don't keep.
Breaking resolution time.
To yourself.
Yeah. I got 5 days to do all the things I told myself I would do this past year.
Wow.
Yep.
That's a lot of pressure. Did you ever think about why people don't keep resolutions? Why they don't happen?
I know why I don't keep them.
Why is that?
Other than the millions of excuses I make. Usually they're either too big or unrealistic.
Unrealistic. Those are good things, yeah. You know, I think what I'd like to do today, and hopefully this will be a blessing to everybody, is talk about maybe 3 reasons resolutions don't stick, and then talk about how to make resolutions that really will stick and therefore improve your life. Make it by next year this time, you'll be able to say, instead of, well, I know why mine didn't go, you'll be able to say, hey, praise God. I get to make new resolutions this year because the ones that I made stuck.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's hit this right on. And by the way, if you see me looking down as if I'm looking at notes, I am. You know, we actually prepare for these shows sometimes.
Despite what it seems like.
And since this isn't a big recording studio like some, big news organization, we actually have notes instead of teleprompter. So why New Year's resolutions seldom are fulfilled? Well, listen to this verse in James 1:5-8. If any of you lack wisdom, let him ask God that gives to all men liberally and upbraid not, and it shall be given to him. But let him ask in faith, not wavering. For he that wavers is like a wave in the sea, driven with the wind and tossed. For let not that man think that he shall receive anything of the Lord. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. That's James 1:5-8. And what this is talking about is what causes double-mindedness, not being in alignment with your ultimate goal. So the first thing that causes people not to fulfill or complete their resolutions is that the goal or the resolution they set really wasn't in alignment with their ultimate goal. It may be something they thought they should do because other people imposed it on them. Here's a little, I don't know. A man called his neighbor to help him move a couch that had become stuck in the doorway. They pushed and pulled until they were exhausted, but the couch wouldn't budge. Forget it, the man finally said. We'll never get this in. The neighbor looked at him quizzically and said, in? You see, because of the influence of all that is around us, we may be tempted to set goals that have little to do with our true values. As such, our heart will not be in it, and thereby almost all resolutions made because of the impositions of others or because of our insecurities of adopting others' resolutions, they'll fail. So just make sure that the resolution is yours. Is what this would come down to, the other side of it. It's not your resolution. And that's what it comes, again, we're easily influenced by all that is around us, our friends, our church, our employees, our employers, and so on. When we try to make resolutions to please others without it being in alignment with our core values, our heart is not there.
I've done that almost every year.
Oh, we all have. And I'd like to share this one also. Not of value to you. Now you say, well, that's what you said with the last 2 because they were other people's. But you don't, another way to say this was, you don't see the value in the resolution. You might say, I want to lose 20 pounds this year.
Okay.
And that's a great resolution if you're overweight, 20 pounds or 40 or 60 or 200. It's a great resolution to want to lose. But why? Why do you want to lose that? Is it for your health? Is it for vanity? What is the reason for this? What value it would bring? So the way to look at this is to take your resolution you're thinking about making and say to yourself, what would be the impact if I really did make this resolution and kept it, and I lost that 20 pounds, or got out of debt, or did whatever it is that you're talking about doing? What's the impact on my life if I do that? And if you can't come up with exciting reasons why you want to do that, then maybe it doesn't have the value you need to actually make it a resolution.
I think, well, see, this isn't fair, because you're naming all the things that I do every year, or the things that I don't do every year. So I think one of the issues with adding value to your resolutions is, like you said, you don't plan the end of it, or if you do, that's all that you think of, and then you don't make a plan in between for how to get to your resolution.
How to get there. So even if you could see the value, if you don't have a plan on how to execute it, it may not get done. Exactly. That would be another good one. So yeah, I would agree with that, and that's really important. The other side of this also is when you consider a resolution to adopt for the next year, also consider the impact if you don't keep that resolution. So you can see both ends of the candle here. If I do this, this is how it's going to impact my life. I'm going to be lighter. I'm going to feel younger. I'm going to be happier. It's going to, I'm going to look better, and that's going to make people more comfortable. You can list all those things, but then, and if I don't keep it, I'm going to be the same weight. I'm going to have the same anxieties. I'm going to have the same frustrations. I'm going to be the same depressed attitude. So you can see both sides of it. Both those bring value to your resolution. And if the negative value and the positive values aren't enough to make you say, then move on to a different resolution.
Mark and I were talking earlier, and I told him for this upcoming year, it would be nice to have a year where I didn't have to apologize to myself for not keeping those.
Yeah. Well, sometimes resolutions aren't kept because we don't have those values. They're not our resolutions.
Yeah.
They're not. They're not in alignment with our ultimate goal, and so our ultimate goal will overtake us and push aside those resolutions those short-term resolutions that interfere with our long-term goals. So those things can happen, but sometimes we have to apologize because we just get distracted or we don't have a plan.
Yeah.
I like the idea of making a plan. So let's talk about how to make resolutions that stick. First of all, to make resolutions that work, make resolutions that are in alignment with your ultimate goal for your life. And the verse that's really great about this, for where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Matthew 6:21. Your treasure is your most prized possession. It's the object of highest value to you. It's your heart's desires. So goals and resolutions that are in alignment with that have your heart, you'll keep those, or you'll be more apt to keep those. So make sure your resolutions are in alignment with your ultimate goals. You'll have a heart for it then, and you're more likely to keep them. And make sure they're in alignment with God's ultimate goal for your life. We have ultimate goals, but God has an ultimate goal. Hopefully your ultimate goals are in alignment with God's. Yeah, because if you do that, if they're not in alignment with God's ultimate goal, it may cause conflicts that probably won't give you the strength that we have to do anything good in this world. Where does it come from? God. So we need to make sure we're walking in His good works, not what we think are our good works. And as a Christian, I believe my ultimate goal in life is to know God as intimately as possible and glorify Him in all I do. So how does this fit in with that resolution? What about our ultimate goals should be in alignment with God's, because everything that is good comes from Him. Anything that's of ours alone obviously will be tainted and less perfect, and less happiness and less joy and less value. So I submit to you that the results of good resolution, one worth fulfilling, one that is from your heart, one founded on your ultimate goal, will have an impact in your life this next year, will have an impact on others. That's the cool things about God is He multiplies. His love, His peace, His joy is based in multiplication, not in addition. And it'll have an impact on eternity, which is really good. So if you align your your resolutions with God's desires for your life, if you make sure they have value, serious value, by talking about what's the impact in my life if I kept this and what's the impact if I didn't, then those resolutions will be much more stickier than the ones that don't.
So I know with all this resolution talk, I'm sure everyone's heads are swimming like mine are. I don't know what to think about my resolutions now. I might have to sit down and make a chart, make a list, make a graph, something like that. Are there maybe some just easy things that you can give me that might help?
Sure.
Or
sure. I mean, I guess let's talk about a couple of just some good ideas. How about things that are that are God's ultimate goals for our life? Well, for us to be loving. So maybe giving of ourselves more, caring for others more than ourselves. Maybe we just say to ourselves, this year, I'm going to make an effort to reach out to people in need.
Okay.
And maybe that means setting a goal of finding a family that you can help, or finding an individual you could come alongside of and help, either financially, emotionally, or coaching or whatever. Or maybe giving more financially. Find a cause that's important to you and start giving on a regular basis. Maybe you're not giving 10% or 20% or giving hilariously, as it says in the New Testament. You could do that. That's in alignment with God's goal, as long as you're giving out of a heart, out of your heart. But I would say, ultimately, any little desire that you want to change, any improvement you want to make, should be based in love. Bottom line.
Okay.
If you can say, I'm just doing this for selfish, greedy reasons, then maybe that's not in alignment with God, because God is love. So if you base your resolutions in love, and that could even be get out of debt, balance my lifestyle with the income God has given me, find a better job. All those aren't always greedy. Sometimes God says, I gave you a family, a wife and a child, as a man, I would say, and I want you to care for them, and your job is not able to do that, so you need to find a better job. That's not greedy. That's caring for your family. That's an act of love. So base them in love, and then come up with a plan. Sit down and say, okay, how do I do this? How do I make this resolution work? Well, every month I need to do this, or every day I need to do this. I'm going to make a plan on how to execute this. What are the steps necessary? What do I need to make this work? And think it through. Just don't make a resolution, I'm going to lose 20 pounds.
Yeah.
Okay, how about making a resolution to eat better, reduce the number of calories, increase the vitamins, and to increase the amount of calories I burn every day? And then come up with how you're going to do that. A lot of people say, well, I'm going to go to the gym 3 days a week starting the new year. Why? Come up. Why are you going to do that? Because I'm going to because I want to do this, because I want to be healthy, because God has great works for me to walk in. See, now we tie this back to God, and I want to be healthy enough to walk in those great works.
Yeah.
And execute God's plan for my life. So tie it back to God. Make sure it's not a phony tie back, but a real tie back. Make it part of your ultimate goals in life, which should be in alignment with God, and make sure you understand the value of both making this work and not making it work. The impact of making it work, or the impact of not making it work, so you know the true value of these resolutions. And if you're going to make resolutions, personally, I think we should make resolutions every morning, every day.
Yeah.
We should go before the Lord and saying, Lord, I want, and then bathe it in prayer. Make it part of your prayer list. If the one thing you do on this is say, every day I'm going to pray about this resolution, that'll put it front of mind, it'll put it on your heart, and it'll help clarity come through and help you design a plan to make it work. And I want to encourage everybody, if you're making resolutions, make one financial resolution.
Oh, yeah, it's not a bad idea.
All of us have somewhere in our finances we can improve, and if we can improve in whether it's giving, whether it's how we earn it, how much we earn, whether it's reducing debt. Last Tuesday we talked about the three biggest decisions you can make on your finances right now. One of them was to reduce debt. Maybe you don't have to say get out of debt. You might say I'm going to reduce my debt this year.
Yeah.
You know, by X amount, or you know, give more, giving more, reducing debt, or just being more conscious of God's blessing in your life by counting your blessings. All those. One of those. Make a decision though to include one financial decision in your resolutions, because if you do that and it's in alignment with God's ultimate goal for your life, and you realize the value of that, you also realize that life is
so much more
than money. God bless everyone.
All right. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year's.